Hey, it's Chris. This video is all about starting your own podcast. I started my own podcast a few years ago, and it's been one of the most amazing things for me because I get to chat with people who inspire me and people who I wouldn't normally be able to reach out to and ask them questions. Now, in the context of having my own podcast, they want to share their story because they're not just talking to me, they're talking to the audience as well. It's absolutely awesome. And I know how many people want to start a podcast and have thought about it and dreamed about it, but it could be intimidating because you don't know how to get started. You don't know how to ask for guests to be on your podcast. You don't know what gear you need, but it doesn't need to be that complicated. You can simplify everything down. When I first started, I didn't have a lot of this fancier type gear. I started with really simple things, and you can start with the basics of what you absolutely need and then build from there. That's the great thing. You don't need to build a whole podcast studio first. You probably have most of the things that you need to get started right now. But we're going to talk about some of the gear that I use and some of the even cheaper alternatives. So the core piece of gear in my podcast production is this. This is the Zoom H6, which we are recording into as we speak. The Zoom H6 is an amazing, small, portable recorder. Right now, you'll see that there's no power cable going into it because it's being powered by 4 AA batteries. So you can bring this with you. You could bring this with you with a microphone like this, which we will get to in a second. But the Zoom is amazing because you can use this even if you don't even have microphones. See these up here on the top? And those are microphones, so you could talk into that. You could just carry this piece, and if you wanted to interview somebody, if you were out on the road somewhere, you could talk into it, be like, "Hey, it's Chris. I'm here with this person that I just met, and we're going to interview them. So ask them a question, and then bring the microphone over there, the whole thing right over to there. You can use that device as the actual microphone using those on top. It's not the best, but it's doable if you needed to. And another great thing that I love about this thing is there are 4 separate XLR inputs that you can put microphones into. So 1, 2, 3. Right now we're using number 1, which is this microphone. This is awesome. 4 inputs. So if you were doing an interview with 4 different people, like around a table like this, you could plug in 4 of these really cheap microphones into it, and you'd have 4 separate inputs of audio. And then if you're recording that into that, you could even save those as 4 separate tracks so that you can edit later and do make your audio sound perfect. Now, let's move on. These microphones are really cheap. We'll link them down below to purchase, and they're pretty much the most inexpensive mics that you can get, and I think they're amazing. Now, they're not perfect if you have a recording studio and you're like an advanced podcaster, you might want to upgrade from these, but these are actually the mics that I still use in my show, and my show has been going for 80 or so episodes. This is the Behringer. I'm not sure what the current price is, but they actually come in a 3-pack. And it's really, really inexpensive. So click below to see the current price on those. So let's recap on this. We have 2 pieces of the puzzle when you want to record a podcast. You need a microphone to talk into and have your guests talk into, and you need something for the sound to be recorded onto. Now, so you have a microphone and wherever the stuff gets recorded onto. If you don't need to buy anything though. If you have a phone, you have a microphone that's built into the phone, and a phone obviously has built-in storage. You could walk up to people start up your voice memos and hit record on your voice memos, use your phone as a microphone and say, "Hey, it's Chris, and we're here with this person, and we're going to interview them." Ask your first question, and they talk into the little, just into the bottom of the phone. This has been the balance for me of getting high quality, professional sounding recording but without spending a whole lot of money. Ideally, you would be talking straight into it like this, so you would get, that would be where if your guest was on the other side, like we record my podcast right here, and I talk to my guest, which would be over on the other side of this table, and I'll be talking directly into this microphone just a few inches away to give an idea of how that would sound in an actual setting. So there's some things, once you have the gear, then it's like, we'll make more videos about this, but the gear should never be the thing that you're worried about, because the most important part with podcasts or making videos or whatever it is that you're doing is telling an engaging story that connects with your viewers and your listeners and makes them interested, intrigued, and want to come back for more. So the point of this is, if you need gear, buy the best gear that you can afford at the time. You can always upgrade. There's microphones, like I started on the Blue Yeti microphones, like $100 microphone, and I recorded a lot of episodes on that. I would just set one microphone right on a table. It would record everything in the room, and that would record right into my laptop, which I already had, so I didn't need to buy anything new. You can, except the $100 microphone, save up $100, go buy a microphone, or use your phone, which you already have. And then once you do 20 episodes or something, you're like, I really like this, I want to kick up to the next level. Maybe then you can kick up to buy a Zoom H6 or a dedicated microphone. So hopefully you're inspired to get out there and make your own podcast. I know you've been thinking about it. You just searched on YouTube about how to make your own podcast. So stop thinking about it. Stop wondering if you have the right gear or what gear you need. Start with the gear that you have already, or save up and buy the basics and get started and make things happen. That's what my podcast is all about. The Between Dreams podcast chats with other people who are making things happen in hopes to inspire you to get out there and make something happen. Whether that's to make your own podcast, make your own YouTube channel, start making documentaries, start making short films, whatever it is, write a book, whatever that thing that you've been thinking about. You've been waiting on it, and there's no reason to wait anymore. We have all the things that we need. You have me on YouTube tutorials teaching you how to do stuff. So get out there and make something happen. Leave a comment. What is your next question? If you're still thinking about starting a podcast and you still have questions, leave a comment. What's your question? I will answer them in the next video. All right, that's it for now. Thank you, and goodbye.